Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, me and Noodle here are going to show you my new setup that can skip about 18 to 20 lives, which is a lot when you need OBG. Yeah, you don't even need TSCG for 10k lives yet, so this is a lot. Well, it's an improvement to my last video, and I have Noodle here who's going to be sitting there then, ask, giving some advice whenever he can. Alright, let's get this started.
Little Blangle.
Well, we're gonna start out with the cache setup that I used in my last video, which is the mine, which is the Gargantia mine. You can put this really anywhere, but I prefer to place it in the corner, so I'm gonna go over here. And then you're gonna use really any furnace. But I like to use the Devourer of Nightmares because it's 2 enchanted items they fit. Now I have enough money. Say this is loadout 1, because you can't have it in the same loadout as the other one, or it'll collide, and loadouts hate when you do hydraulic platforms, so it will not work. That's the beginning one. Now we're gonna go about roughly over here, to the other side of the base. We're gonna start with the conveyor line. So we're gonna use a green teleporter here. Have it roughly here. But you need some space for some upgraders here. We're gonna do a railgun cannon. Okay, and this setup is definitely life 10k. Because you will not have some of these items. Virtual enhancer and gearwork. You want to have this just facing like about roughly this, with a hydraulic. Oh, we need to buy that. I forgot, we need to buy half the items we need. Hydraulic unstable conveyor. You're gonna need about one of those. I'm gonna use that. And we can have like a little, a little tester here, just while we're going through. Green teleporter, we can just hit that testing real quick. Making sure that's working properly. And if it's not, you just move it over. There we go. I'm gonna have the hydraulic conveyor like one up, and the virtual gearwork regular. Now that that works, we can withdraw these two. Next, we're gonna do the pizza list, which will go right about here. And then we're gonna do the hourglass. Now, you're gonna need a ton of superstitious items, which I have about 5 or 6 that I use in the setup, plus more I have in my inventory that I don't actually use. And then we're gonna do another superstitious item. You're gonna need the Dystrophy, Death Cap, Vulcan's Wrath, Optic Origin, Guardian of Gaia, Heavy Mine, and Crimson Library for this setup. We're gonna do that one. And then you're gonna do True Overlord Device, which will just sit right about here. With the Quantum Clockwork. These two are, this one's 100 times multiplier. If you don't have that, then I don't know what you're doing. If you're not having a TSCG at life 100 or 1,000, whatever, 10,000. You should honestly have it before life 1,000 or a little bit before that, if you want. I mean, it's very useful items 100 times multiplier compared to the regular overload device. Now we're gonna use the Ancient Colosseum. And then we're gonna use the Garden of Gaia. And I know we're gonna do one thing before that. We're gonna move this about here. We're gonna do the Enchanted Library, which fits right here. I don't believe I'm missing anything. Fit this right here with a orange teleporter. And then you're gonna want to have at least 3 walls about here, here, and here. Now that's the easy part for this line. Now we're gonna add some exotics, which we're gonna do the pearl refiner or whatever it's called, portable pearl enhancer. You can put this right about here. And then we need the angel's blessing. Anywhere like about here. And then we're gonna need another exotic. It's like the Cybeg 9000 or whatever it's called. Yeah, Cybeg 9000. And then we're gonna move over just a bit. It'll still upgrade even though it's sitting right here. Now we're gonna do the big bunny. And just about right here. That'll work. And now that's about it for this line with reborns and like non-shop items. We'll be adding the remaining of the shop items in a minute. We're just gonna be doing my favorite part of the setup, which is you can call it the resetter line. You need about a ramp here, or not a you need or cannon. There we go. I'm trying to think of the word. It's probably 5. You're not gonna need that many, but you're gonna need a lot. Oh yeah, if you either have Black Dwarf or Void Star will work. But if you have a Black Dwarf, great. If you have a Void Star, even better. And then we're gonna do our hydraulic platforms. We're gonna move this guy over too. Or just make sure this is like in the center, and make sure this is about 1-2 blocks away. And then you're gonna do the first one, which would be the Tesla resetter or refuter. If you don't have the Tesla refuter, then I don't know, but you should have this. And then we're gonna buy about, I'd say about 8 replicators. You don't need any raised mini conveyors at all for this. And then we're gonna do about this and this with the 2 green teleporters. And then the next thing we're gonna do is do another ore cannon into another hydraulic thingy. You're gonna need a lot of these, so just be ready to buy a bunch. Have this up 1. And then into a dystrophy. You can use a final upgrader if you don't have dystrophy, but this is just a bigger multiplier. And then we're gonna do this into the replicator. Set again. I think there's only 3 sets, but just to be sure, just make sure you have 8 just in case. You can always buy more, they're cheap compared to TDD, which we have. And then next, this is just gonna be about more hydraulic platforms. All gonna be the same line as this. And then I think 1 more, and that's it. If we already used 5 or 6, I don't really know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna do a spore. The Azure Spore. Roughly, I'd say here. And then we're gonna do the ore cannon. Now you don't need to do raised hydraulic platform, because next item will work pretty well with this. Void Star. Now, I would say probably like 6 blocks away. If you have the ultimate conveyors, which you should, place 3, and that'll fit. And then the replicators will go roughly, you know, here and here, with, you know, the last green teleporter set, I believe. I mean, I have so many. Yeah, that'll work. And then... actually, we need to move this a little bit over. we need to do a cannon first. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a test with the Havia mine we have. Now, mines are very specific with ore cannons or railgun cannons. So I just recommend just doing a little bit of a test with whatever mine you have, and adjust accordingly. So what I would do here is just get a couple of hydraulics. And spell hydraulics, right? And it's not in furnaces, it's in upgraders. Get about like 5 up. And a couple of these two, and then just have regular conveyors. Now we're gonna do... You're gonna want an ore quasar eventually. And have a lot of walls. I mean a lot of walls. Like, I have 14 diamond, which will work for this setup. Just have them all around here. And then have conveyors anywhere else. Like, ultimate will work. And then we're gonna leave that there for now. And we're just gonna remove these for now. Withdraw this, please. And now we're gonna add the bottom thing. Which I believe we did a hydraulic teleporter over here, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, hydraulic teleporter. Which we need to buy. Furnaces. I hate how they do this. Just buy 2 of each. I only need 1, but I'm buying 2 just in case they screw something up somewhere along the line. And also, probably also have a... That's why we have 5. We're gonna rotate one of these. And do like that. So that you get them up, so you get that up there. And then we're gonna have... Honestly, we're gonna have 3 more hydraulic platforms. Or 4. We're just gonna place all 4. We'll place one about... Here. 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 We're gonna move this one all the way to the end. And then we're gonna move these 2 along the same, like, you know, row. And then we're gonna add our last one. Now, these may look a little expensive, but just sacrifice your items that you don't use, like... You can see in my side that I don't use much reborns. Like, don't use your ore sawmills. Like, just sacrifice those. And then we're gonna do a hydraulic teleporter right below this into a Dreamer's Life. It's a very good upgrader. We're gonna aim that properly. Into a Vulcan's Destiny. Now, I use the Vulcan's Wrath, but it's only very good if you have ore stored on top of it, which I really wouldn't recommend doing. You need 100 ores for it to activate, and by the time you wait 100 ores, it's already too long. Do Drayden's Gauntlets. So let's move all this down a little bit more since we have so much room. And then we're gonna do the Book of Knowledge. Now, not the true Book of Knowledge, just a regular furnace one. And then place it about here. You can move this all down to the very edge. And that'll work. Now, we're gonna be doing kind of like the extras, like you know, the items you need for Dreamer's Life to work, and for this to work more. But we're gonna get an ore quasar because we have all those piles of ore right there, just sitting there for no reason. Okay, we're gonna build the top part of this now, which is why I recommend doing a bunny infuser, which I have now. And then jumping on top of one of your items. But we're gonna move. I'm gonna move all these hydraulic platforms up as high as they can go now. So I'm actually up here now. Because now if you do this, only one little tree will be in the way. Which, if you don't want it to be in the way, you could just... Like, you can... I think you can still place items there. I think. Let me do a little test. If you can still place items on top of it, you just don't need to do that right now. Now we're going to do the blue teleporter set, which we need to buy. We need to buy the blue and pink. We're gonna teleporter. Blue one's gonna be up here. With a cannon. With a enchanted item called the Imperium Monument. It's it's only beneficial the higher you have your habits higher up. And then we're gonna have a wall. We're gonna have a wall roughly, I'd say right about here. And then we need to buy a lot more of these. Buy about 30. Or however many you need. You're just gonna have like a row of about 5 and then make another row and so on. Because you can catch the ores no matter where they land. Now we need the Habiant line. Into a T-Star Bomba, which is the evolved form of the Big Bertha, which you need 100 of. It's a little nuts. And then you need a Wild Spore. Or I guess a Wild Spore will work for this one. Actually, let's do Deadly Spore. It's probably a little bigger, better upgrader. And then we're gonna do it into a blue. Now you might be wondering, where do these pink things go? Down here. You can make another row. Pink. Receiver. Into a Ocean Monument. Or an Atlantic Monument. Roughly here. And then we're gonna do another superstitious item. The Optic Origin. Into a green. Which now will run through here. Now, we're gonna test how much this makes without the items required. Which, you can make UVG for the beginning, OVG not bad. Which isn't great for this, you make enough to get QNTG. We're gonna wait a little bit. UQDR, which was not how much I was expecting to make this much. I haven't even added any of the extra stuff yet. Well, time to do that. I'm gonna withdraw this. Gonna move this as close to the edge as possible. And now we're gonna add a bunch of Dreamer's items. So add every evolution first. These are usually the biggest. And fit them anywhere that doesn't block the Gargantium or whatever the Garg mine. So just place this down with the Devastation. Or the Devourer of Nightmares. Wherever you have this place, make sure you have this as far back as you can, so you have more room. And then we're gonna do the more Dreamer's items. We're gonna do one of each, which is placed right about here. And then we're gonna do the Dreamer's Blight, normal. And then we're gonna do the Dreamer's Bright. And really anywhere that'll fit. Like, you'll have plenty of room left after all the items you need to place are done. But now you'll make a little bit more money because it's now, like, way better with the Dreamer's Life. Now we're gonna add a little bit more for the Book of Knowledge. Now we're gonna add a bunch of different items, including the Void Drive. I'm gonna place it about here. Or Indoctrinator. Ancient Temple. Dark Illuminator. Warm Memer, you should have at least one. I only have 3, but you should have at least one. The True Book of Knowledge, which will be very useful. We're gonna pause real quick. Taylor Monster, which you should get, which you need Centillion for. You should have enough for that if you work for it. There's many videos that do that. King Gold Mine is another good one you need. You don't need them. There's a list of items that on Wikipedia or whatever that you can use for this. But just use the items I have here. This makes it easier to just use these items. Like the ancient temple is just because you need like a couple hundred more. Now, Nymek TQDR, which is only 14 skips, but we're not done yet. So, go to the shop, go to upgraders, go to portable. Buy 30 of these. You're not going to be using all 30, but we're just going to buy 30. And then buy 15 of these. You can only use 15, we'll be using 15. Now, right here, on this thing, use 4 of the portable ore scanners. And then just use them anywhere else you have room for them. Like, this will not... I mean, I guess technically that works. Because it's so nitpicky, it might actually, you know, work there. Like, you can try and do it somewhere other place next to upgraders, but it won't work half the time. Do one here and here. And here... and here. Also, if you have room, which I think I do have room slightly, we're gonna move this Angel's Blessing, and we may have room to place it right here. Okay, yes, we do. And same thing with the... okay, that won't fit because it's too big. But just anywhere we can find room for the thingies, place them down. Like, you won't find any room back here, and there's hardly any room right here. I mean, you could try, but that won't work. Now you can make QDDR, which is a lot of money still, but we're not done yet. We're gonna be using these portable tractor beams. Recommendation: make a set of 3. Raise this to about here. Go up 1, and then this maximum limit. Just do sets of 2 for now, actually, and then place them all throughout here, above the upgrader, so they upgrade a little bit more. And now, since you have 1 remaining, you can literally place it anywhere, and that should work. Now, there's probably a few more items you could add throughout the thing. Like, there's probably an upgrader here. If there's a beam, if there's a beam big enough to reach up there, like with the amber fossilized egg might fit, but I really wouldn't trust that because the ores go in 2 different sides of the ore cannon. So more like the ruby crystallizer will work here. Like, you can just do this. It's a little big, so we need to make another spot for that. And then you can do this.
And put it in the right way.
Yeah, that's... I guess technically that matters. But not really, I mean... There, we'll move this
Not really,
forward.
but, you know, if it gets caught up on it and gets stuck.
I guess. Losing 1 whole ore. Now I reset
That's
this.
like milliseconds of efficiency, Obby.
You are right. Now, there are a couple more things you could probably add along the way. Oh, like, no. Add these if you can as well. Like, I would probably do... I don't even know what a place is. We already have 1 place. Oh, we need the energy core, of course. Right here, I think will work. Yes. Try doing it sideways, but if it's the energy core, if it's the portable pearl enhancer, it won't matter. Yeah, so you're already making 18 skips. with the setup, and it's pretty fast too. I mean, if you want to get to like 19 and 20 skips, you just have to wait a minute to get a few ores that will actually work. With this, I mean, there's not much else to this. I mean, let me see if there's anything else potentially that I didn't add in my own setup that we could add here. You could add the Delta Phantom if you really want to. That just takes a little more time in the end, which I guess doesn't really matter if you really want to do it. You could. Let's just see what happens when we add it. We're gonna add this to here. We're gonna move this right here. We're gonna move all of these to here. And then we're gonna move this to roughly here. I mean, it might work pretty well or not, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, it might make the same amount of money, it may not. Now I'm making an OQDR, which is 19 skips. 20 skips, you're gonna need, however much OBG you have. If you have OBG. And you need to have more of the OQDR than you have the OBG. Now, that's about it in the video. I haven't been posting it a little bit, been working on this video, I've been busy in my actual life. I mean, there's not much to it. I mean, if you don't have any of the superstitious items, like, you don't have the hourglass, just replace it with something like... God, I don't know. Oh, wait, you need to add your Statue of Knowledge. Withdraw this and then place a Statue of Knowledge. It may or may not hit some of the ores. May or may not hit some of the ores. The Statue of Knowledge is one of the most annoying upgrades to place. It is so, like, fine point. If you really want to, you could probably add it up here. Like, move this back one and have it placed right here where the ores, like, stop. Since on the edge. But yeah, that's about it. Different ores, like, different mines you use will have different effects on the cannon. Because they're different density and different size. And that's really about it. You need to have the Optic Origin earlier on because the Havia mine gives the ore shield, and this gives it more cash if you have it with a shield. I think it's like 200. I think it's like 301 times. It's plus 100 times for the day since it's daytime. Yeah, that's about it. Let me guys know what I should do down below in the comments, or if you see me online, come into my server and I'll try and help. But there's not much I can do with, higher and higher setups. But if you're like below like 7 to 8K, I can most likely help you out with setup. If you want efficiency, then I'll help with that. If you want speed, I'll do that. If you want cash and you don't care about how long it takes, then I'll do that. If you want me to make a video about the fastest setup I can make for like 1K or like 2K, then I'll do that. If there's not much else I can do for you, well, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.